What's going on, guys? So today's topic is going to be on how many meals you should be eating in one day. And I get this question all the time. Should I be eating 1 to 3 meals in a day, or should I be eating around 5 or 6 meals a day to try to speed up my metabolism? And in all honesty, it kind of depends. But the first thing I'll say is if you're someone that is just now starting out to try to eat healthier and like work out and stuff, I will be completely honest, it'll probably be much easier for you to worry only about eating 3 meals or 2 or 3 meals in a day as opposed to worrying about eating 5 to 6 meals in a day. And that's just from a time and, time management standpoint. Going from, maybe not eating any healthy meals in a day to trying to eat 5 or 6 healthy meals is a very overwhelming goal to do for yourself. So if you just say, you know what, I'm going to try to eat 2 to 3 healthy meals a day as opposed to trying to eat 5 or 6. That is something that is much more manageable. So that's the first thing I'll say is like it's much more manageable to only worry about 3 meals a day as opposed to 5 or 6. The next thing you want to think about is what's your goal. So the reason why eating 5 to 6 meals a day got so much popularity back in the day was because bodybuilders have to eat 5 or 6 meals a day in order to put on the amount of muscle that they want to put on for their competitions. And the reason for this is because your body can only process around 20 to 40 grams of protein in one sitting. So some bodybuilders have to take in like 250 to 300 grams of protein. So when you do that math, that's going to be 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8 meals in one day every 2 to 3 hours for them to get enough protein in their bodies on a consistent basis in order to digest that protein properly and not just waste it. So that was the main reason that a lot of people started saying, okay, well, if bodybuilders are looking so good, maybe I should do what they're doing because they're eating 5, 6, 7, 8 meals a day and they look amazing. Well, we're not all trying to be bodybuilders. We're not all trying to put on massive amounts of muscle. So then, about 5 to 10 years, I'd say probably within the last 5 to 7 years, fasting became a very big cultural like phenomenon people started doing. And they started realizing it was very beneficial for people to lose weight and live healthier lives. And so then people started saying, well, maybe I only need to eat 1 meal a day. And, there's all the rage is trying to figure out how many meals you can eat in a day to get all the nutrients you need, all the protein you need, and all the calories you need in order to live a healthy life. So one thing I will say is if you start only eating 1 meal a day, your metabolism will slow down. And that's just because your body starts to understand like, hey, this my body's only going to get in 1 meal a day, so I need to slow my metabolism down in order to conserve my energy because I don't need to be burning everything I have in order to so that I can survive. All right. So that's one thing to think about. If you're eating 3 meals a day, your body is naturally digesting that food every 3 to 4 hours and then is ready for the next meal. So, one thing I wanted to talk about is this thing called your ultradian rhythms. Your body actually has these rhythms throughout the day when it is ready to eat and processes food, and then also digests that food, and then is ready to eat again. And you have an ultradian rhythm of a food cycle of digestive system that lasts around 3 to 4 hours on a regular basis. So that's why we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, you can obviously change that with only eating 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, or even eating 6 to 8 meals a day. Your ultradian rhythm will start to change and get you prepared to start eating at certain times on a consistent basis. So if you eat at 8 o'clock in the morning, your body will naturally start to get ready to ingest food at 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll start producing hormones and different enzymes and stuff that will get you ready to take in food if you do it for 2, 3, 4 months. And then if you start eating, on a more consistent basis, then your body will start saying, okay, this person's starting to eat more. I need to get my body ready to ingest food. So that's why we get hungry at certain times because we start to eat at a certain time of the day every day for, 2, 3, 4, 10 years. And that's when we just get naturally hungry. So that is something you need to think about. The first thing you need to think about is like, what is something I can consistently do? And if you're in the beginning of your health and wellness journey, the most beneficial thing would be to scale everything down and just say, okay, I want to eat at least one healthy meal. I'm going to try to eat 2 to 3 healthy meals in a day. And that's how I'm going to consistently do that. So that would be your goal. If you want to put on muscle mass, like a lot of muscle mass, then yeah, you can do the 5 to 6 to 7 or 8 meals a day and do 20 to 40 grams of protein. And that's going to help you put on muscle mass if that's your goal. But if it's your goal just to live like a normal, healthy life, it's normal to eat 2 to 3 meals a day that is going to get you around 1,500 to 2,000 calories. Now, one thing I will say is that women on average burn around 1,600 to 2,400 calories a day, and men burn around 2,000 to 3,000 calories a day. So when you think about that, for women, if you eat, let's say you eat 3 meals that are all 600 calories, that's going to add up to 1,800 calories. So if you're burning 1,800 to 2,000 calories, you're probably going to maintain the amount of body weight that you are currently in. For men, same thing. If you are burning around 2,500 calories and you eat 700 to 800 calories a day, then you'll probably maintain or lose a little bit of weight consistently. So that's something to be aware of as well. A lot of people don't realize that we can eat a significant amount of food in a day and over time consistently either lose weight or maintain weight in a healthy manner. Sorry. And that's something that a lot of times we find ourselves snacking throughout the day if we don't prepare to eat food on a normal and consistent basis. So that's something that I want you to be aware of is if you are, if you are consistently eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you have a plan in place to eat a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then your mind and body will naturally prepare to eat that and not have to worry about, hey, I need to get more food during the day, so I need to snack and stuff like that. And if you know you're going to get enough to eat during those meals, then you're not going to be worried about being hungry in between those meals. All right. So that's something you need to be aware of is a lot of people undereat when they're trying something new, when they're trying to be healthier, they undereat a ton and then they become super hungry and then they start binging on whatever they can get their hands on. All right. So that's one thing that you need to be aware of is undereating is going to really force you to want to find other foods that you can fill up on. So be sure to eat enough food throughout the day to be full in those meals. If you're eating 2 to 3 meals, eat enough food that's going to keep you full. All right. And the other thing you want to think about, and this video is going a little longer than I had hoped, but another thing you want to think about is what's sustainable. What is sustainable for me over 3, 6, 12 months, and then also like going forward for a lifetime? What's sustainable for me? Not just for 30 days, not just for a week. What is going to be sustainable so that I can consistently do this over time? And then the last thing I'll say is you can definitely switch it up. Every 3 to 6 to 12 months, you don't have to keep the same eating routine all the time. If you're eating 3 meals a day for, let's say, 3 months, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I kind of want to switch it up. I want to make my meals a little smaller and I'm eating the same amount of calories, that will increase your metabolism, okay? Because if you think about it, your body will consistently start getting ready every 2 to 3 hours if you're eating 5 to 6 meals a day to burn more calories more efficiently, okay? When you're eating bigger meals, and it's, a 500, 600 calorie meal is not a huge meal, but when you're eating bigger meals, it takes your body a little longer to digest that food. All right. So when you break it up in half and you're eating 300 calorie meals, then your body's able to digest that pretty quickly, and then it'll be ready for another meal in the next 2 to 3 hours. Whereas if you eat a 500 to 600 calorie meal, then your body can digest that and hold off for another 3 to 4 hours because it's full. So just think about it that way. You don't have to do one or the other because both of them are beneficial if you're eating healthy food. That is the main objective here, is to be eating healthy food. If you're not eating healthy food to start off with, then the 1 to 3 meals or 5 to 6 meals is not what you should be focusing on. You should be focusing on getting nutrient dense food first. And I think that's it. I mean, I hope I answered any questions. I know that was a kind of a long rant, but essentially, I know it can be very, very overwhelming to think about how many meals you should be eating and actually eating those meals throughout the day. But that's why time restricted eating, eating within a 12-hour window, is very beneficial for people, because you can have maybe even 3 or 4, maybe even 5 meals if you don't have, a set uh, diet that you're really sticking to. If you stick between that 12-hour window or 10-hour window, that gives you some consistency there. All right. I'm going to stop there. I hope that was helpful. And I hope you got something out of that. I know I try to give you some practical information. Some people will say, no, you need to be eating 5 or 6 meals, or no, you need to only eat 1 or 3 meals. Both have their, places for trying to reach certain goals in health and wellness. So, yeah, I hope that helped. And like I said, if you're just starting out, start with those 1 to 3 meals, probably, just because it's much easier to stick to. And then if you want to branch out to the 5 or 6 meals and try that after you've been doing the 1 to 3 meals and you kind of got that locked in, by all means, I think that would be good. And then maybe that will speed up your metabolism, and you will get to your goal a little faster, or change things up a little bit. But that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed that, and please, ask any questions you have in the comments if you have any, and I love to hear your feedback. So thank you, appreciate it.